What's up, everybody? Anyway, I done a video about the difference between real estate and REITs, and I said that it takes about 20% more or less with real estate, and I still stick by 20% more or less, and I will go in a little bit more detail with it. The difference is when you're buying a piece of property, it depends on what the bank says, what you're allowed on the loan, how much the property is, if it's what kind of real estate it is, if it's business or whatever, and the terms and agreements within the real estate, the purchases, and what comes along with it, and how much you are allowed to borrow against it. And you might do financial, might do owner finance too. But the thing is, it all depends on how the terms is laid out. Certain banks, certain loan places, even the property you buy, they might want you to put more down to cover them so you have more skin in the game. So with that details is when you're buying a piece of property, or no matter what the price is, it could be the interest rate or what you got to put down, it could be up or down. It could be 20% more or less. All depends on the property. I mean, there's some pieces of property the bank's going to want you to have more in. Some they're going to be all right. If you're buying a house, it's different. The interest rate's going to be cheaper. If you're buying a piece of property or buying real estate, and when I say real estate, it means you're buying doors, or you're buying a duplex, or it can be an office building or whatever. It could be more or less, that's what they want you to put down. As in other words, they want you to have more skin in the game, because your property is, if it's a business or some kind of real estate, a rental property, they want you to know that you got more. As in other words, they don't want to be on the hook for a lot more liability. They want you to have some skin in the game. That way, you're not going to walk away if things go south. With a home, they know you're going to live there, so it's kind of more of a safe bet. But with doors and other stuff like that, and I say doors, with rental property or businesses, offices, stores, or whatever you put your money in, a lot of times they want you to have more equity in the buying, or more equity in the project or property, or what you want to call it. That way, when, say, if things go sideways, they're not holding it back completely. You're losing something too. For example, say you buy a duplex, and this is an example, whatever, for $100,000. If you find one for that, let me know. I'm pretty sure you ain't gonna find a duplex or one with 4 doors unless it's in a bad location. They might be like, well, we need you to put, and they're going to send their people to evaluate and all that, and they might want you to put 20% down because it'll cover them. As in other words, it's not your personal residence. As in other words, if you got a house somewhere, they want, I need you to put more equity in there or put more down. That way, we're not on the hook for all of the money. And sometimes, and they might even say less than that, but a lot of times it depends on how the terms, the real estate, and whatever, how it's put out. I mean, there's a lot of things can depend on what you're buying. I mean, if you buy, say, storage units, not only they're going to want to know, or it don't even matter if it's storage units or doors or hotel or whatever. When I say doors, I done told you doors is like if you're buying apartment buildings or whatever. They want you to see, number one, they want to see what it's making. They want to see the tax records and whatever. And then they're going to go from there. They're going to send their people out to see what property's worth. And they're going to go back and forth with you. As in other words, you might want to borrow this. They're going to say they ain't going to lend you but this. So say it's $1 million piece of property, and they value the property. You say the property is worth $1 million. They say it's worth 600. They'll go back and forth, and they look at the money coming in, and they might tell you, well, we're going to only give you 800. So then you got to come up with 20% to put down on it, because they want you to have some skin in the game too. That's what I'm getting at. All depends on the terms, what the value added, and all that stuff. So when you're buying a piece of property, and it can be any kind of property, like I said, the percentage rates depends on the value of it, what's making it. If it's a home, if it's a personal home, it's different. Personal home is literally a whole lot cheaper. I mean, you can get an FTA loan sometimes, depends on, you know, how it's played out. And the interest rate's going to probably be cheaper. But when you're buying something that's not home that you personally live in, they're going to kind of look at that a little bit different. So, and sometimes even the home depends on the way the economy is now. They might even say you're buying a piece of property, if you don't make enough, even if you're buying a home for yourself sometimes, and they appraise it at one price and see how much you make a year and whatever, they can figure out, well, we're going to loan you this because of what you make a year. So then you got to come up with the other portion of it. So you might come up with more down. As in other words, they say they're going to loan you on even your personal home. Say if you're buying a personal home, even with FTH loan, they say, well, we're going to loan you $250,000, and the house is say $300,000. So you might have come up with the other to get the house because they said we're not going to give you no more than that, and that's the way it goes sometimes. And like I said, it all depends on what the price is and all that stuff. So with that said, hopefully this helps you out if you have any questions or whatever. But if you do, you know, you can do your own research. This is not financial advice. It's for entertainment only. Hope this helped you out.